Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video from the Minecraft Create mod, where today we are going to be making the simplest little farm you can imagine for both scoria and limestone. And this is the little farm we are going to be making today. So, how this works is much the same way that cobble does. Limestone, which is this very pale block you can see here, and scoria, which is the lovely dark one just over there, will form when honey or chocolate run underneath or come into contact with lava, much the same as cobble forms when water runs and comes into contact with lava. And here's a little mock-up just to show you exactly what's happening, so that we can see as the liquid honey flows underneath this lava and comes into contact with it, it is forming limestone to be taken down by these mechanical drills, and chocolate is doing exactly the same on the other side to form the scoria that we can see. And in fact, the most challenging part of the whole farm is just getting hold of the honey and the chocolate, which the liquid honey is extremely easy to get. You just need to find either a naturally spawned beehive or one of the ones that you've made for yourself, and then set yourself up with a little bit of kit like this, where we've got a water wheel down at the bottom, and that is just then going through and it is powering that small cogwheel, which is then powering these mechanical pumps, which is bringing the honey down to the spout. That's how we're going to be able to get our honey out. Chocolate, on the other hand, well, hopefully you watched my last video, so you know that chocolate is a considerably more challenging beast. In fact, there is its farm over there in the background. Once you've got it though, then you'll have it for life and you'll be able to make up some scoria as well. If, on the other hand, you don't currently have access to chocolate, don't worry about it, because you can just double up the honey in the farm, in which case you will just have lots and lots of limestone instead. To get honey out of one of these fluid containers, you will need to have a depot just underneath them, and then if you throw an empty bucket onto that, if you just walk right up to it, press Q and you'll throw your bucket on, and then there we go. We can see that that has filled up nicely with honey for us, and it's exactly the same deal if you're going to get chocolate as well. You can just throw that one on. If you try and do this without one of the depots being present, what you'll find is the bucket just sort of sits on the floor and nothing happens. You do need to use the depot for these. But let's get on with our little farm and make our super simple little scoria limestone maker. And this farm is wonderfully cheap to create. It uses very few materials, the most expensive of which is probably the chutes, possibly the mechanical drills in terms of their complexity, and you're also going to need to have some kind of building blocks as well, of course. All of your goods are going to collect down at the bottom, and they will be gathering up on the sides that correspond with which one's being made. The entire farm is powered using just one water wheel from the side, and we're just taking the power from that around and up to our mechanical drills. So for anybody who's good with their farms, you can probably just go off and make it now, but for those of us who are a little bit newer, I will just quickly show you how we can put this together. And the first thing you're going to want to do is place down your building blocks in a row of 4, just like so, and then place 4 more blocks down on top of those, and then on the very top, on the 3rd row, place down your mechanical drills in a row of 4 as well. Just on the block beneath the mechanical drills, put down your chutes, and underneath those put down your chests, just to form the double chest like you can see. And then from there you can place down some glass in front of the chutes as well. Now the only reason why I've used glass here is just because it means that you can tuck up right up to it and see what's actually going on under there, just in case anything mysterious has happened, if something has fallen into the farm and blocks have got in there or something. If anything's happened you can just see it. But obviously the glass is pretty much aesthetic, you don't have to have it at all. From this point then, you can come off to the side of your mechanical drills and bring your building blocks forward, bring them right over the top of the glass and then curve it back around so that we've made this little hole in the middle, which is where all of your scoria and limestone are going to form. What you can do then is, if you take hold of your trapdoors, you can place them on this lower part of the building blocks on either side in front of the holes. That's just so that it makes it a little bit easier to place, so you can just pop out the building blocks behind them. From here, it's going to depend very much on what you've got available. If you've got honey and chocolate, place them one in each of the little gaps. So I'm going to pop chocolate in that one and honey into the other one, and you'll see that they will spill over to the side. At this point, don't worry if it's doing this. It doesn't need to form 2 blocks each in front of it. It'll sort itself out once this farm gets started. From here then, you can go back to your building blocks, and we're just going to go around in a circle on the top of the drills, on the top of the other blocks, and then bring them in front as well, so you've got a whole little circle going around. And this is where you're going to be able to put your lava once the farm is finished. Wait until everything's set off though, and then we'll put the lava in. Just close your little trapdoors so that everything looks good, and the next thing we will do is build up our power system. Now you can actually place your power source on either side of the farm, as it is completely symmetrical, so pick whichever side takes your fancy, and then build the rest of the wall going down just as you can see. And then if you place one little building block right up against this front face, that will give you somewhere to place the water wheel up against so that it is on its vertical axis, just like so. From there then we can bring one shaft coming off the side of the water wheel. Onto that place a large cogwheel, and then because we want to speed this farm up by just a little bit, we're going to transfer over to a small cogwheel and come over in a diagonal direction so that they link up. And then you can just continue small cogwheels going all the way across the back of these mechanical drills. So if we now come back to our water wheel, what we can do is we can remove this block that's directly in front of it. That's going to give the water somewhere to flow to so it doesn't just sort of gush all over the place. And then we will block this in just slightly so that that water stays nice and contained. Then when we place this up at the top middle block, that'll flow over our water wheel and activate it. And there we go, everything has now started moving. And from here then, the very last thing that we need to do is put in our lava up at the top. We can see our drills there working away. And if we just put two sources, one on either side, they will then be able to split out and they'll go down towards all of the blocks and they'll start getting broken. Initially, you might find that scoria and limestone form in the wrong places, depending on what pattern it had formed up there, but now that the lava is in, you should have 2 limestone being formed in front of the honey, and 2 scoria being formed in front of the chocolate. And it'll be able to go on continuing to produce like that, because they're not able to overflow each other as those blocks are forming. And there you have it though, that is the entirety of this farm with a tiny little bit more aesthetic work, just putting the wall on the other side. That is everything that it needs. You just need 1 bucket of those 2 fluids and you're able to produce an eternal amount of fully automatic limestone and scoria. It is supremely simple and surprisingly productive as well. Personally, if you've only got a single player world, I wouldn't bother trying to make it any faster because I find it builds up quite quickly when it is just ticking along in the background. Anywho though, I hope you've enjoyed this tiny little video all about how to make a fully automatic limestone and scoria farm. Happy Minecrafting everyone, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye!